Hi, I'm Alexandra, a psychic spiritual counselor, and welcome to Alexandra's Psychic Eye. You're left with faded photographs and old souvenirs of close friends and family members who are no longer with you. Even though they may be gone physically, they leave something more behind. Something more than what a picture can capture at any given moment, and that is their spirit. That energy source that never dissipates. It will always be there. Our loved ones, though they've passed on to another state of existence, are still very much a part of our lives. They watch over us, they guide us through difficult times, and try to communicate. So stay tuned as we hear their messages, and please don't go away. Welcome back to Alexandra's Psychic Eye. In case some of our viewers might have missed our last segment, I'll recap. Many years ago, I was diagnosed with MS. Multiple sclerosis is an incurable and fatal disease. I was instantly healed, miraculously. And after that, my psychic gifts emerged, especially the gift to see spirits. I'm a receiver of that information from them as well. On our last segment, I related some of my own personal experiences when I first began to see them. Sometimes a spirit may not realize, that they've passed on. A traumatic situation may occur as a result that will draw them from their physical existence without much preparation. It's like a shock to the system. Oh my God, where am I? It's like driving your car somewhere and you don't know where you are. That's how it is for them. To all intents and purposes, they still believe that they're still in their everyday life. They don't know where they are, they're lost, except that they're aware that something extraordinary has occurred. The shock of it, however, may be too much to accept at first. We have in our audience today many people who have questions just on this subject. But before we go into your questions on this subject, I'd like to tell you a little bit about an experience, one of the many hundreds of experiences that I've had. About 2 years ago, my father passed away, and I went into the room where he was lying cold dead on the bed, and I was kissing his face and all over, and that was my only way of, all I knew was this person, and you can't kiss the air, kind of thing. And my family is, hovered near the door. It's very scary to them, but I walk right up to my father. And at this point, he was not alive anymore, about 3 hours. There was no way he was coming back. It was not like it was a minute ago. So after kissing his forehead and kissing his hand and holding his hand and saying goodbye to him in my own way, all of a sudden, I see his face pop out of his body, and I'm like, oh my God. Now, I've seen this hundreds of times in the sense that I've seen spirits. I've seen, someone say, I want to talk to my dead husband, and I'll say, okay, and I'll tell them, there's someone standing at the door saluting the American flag, and they'll tell me, oh my God, my husband used to wake up every morning and salute the American flag. And it was like, oh my God, where is this woman getting this from? Well, my father, his body was here on the bed, and, cold stone, dead. And I see his face, and he's looking right at me, and he's calling my name, and he said, "What happened?" And used a little salty language, which I won't say on the air. They'll bleep us, you know. And I said, "Oh my God, I have to tell my father that he passed away. This was the hardest thing that I ever had to use my gift for, that I never thought I would have to do this, ever. I couldn't have imagined this in my whole life." And I leaned over, I leaned down to where he was, because he was right over his body, because he was still attached to his body. He had no idea where he was. I mean, he'd been in his body 70-odd years. And I said, "Dad, it's kind of like this." He said, "Come out with it already," which is something he would say, in patience, and get to the point. And you know how guys are. They want you to get to the point and just say what it is. I said, "Okay, here's the point, Dad. You passed away and you're not coming back." And he said, "Oh, shit." That kind of thing. He was so mad because he wanted to come back. And in reality, if he really didn't want to leave, to tell you the truth, he would have still been there. But I guess he had ambivalence about it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, sometimes we do things, we get married, and we really want to get married, but we really don't want to get married, that kind of thing. So he said, "Well, you know what? No problem." And my dad was always like a go-getter, risk-taker, problem solver. And he said, "No problem. I'll just go right back in. No big deal." I said, "No, no, I'm sorry. You can't do that." I said, "You passed away at 9:19 in the morning, and it's after 11:30 now. It's too late, Dad." And then he did the curse again, and he was really upset. And at that point, the tears were flowing in me. I couldn't talk to him anymore. I couldn't. It was too much. And I just, I walked away, and I just blessed him, and, I can't tell you how many times my father has spoken to me since then. Sometimes I can't shut him up, and I don't want to shut him up. And if I get upset, he'll go, "What are you upset about? I'm fine. I'm doing great. I'm happy. Now cut this out. Now smile. Now put a big smile on your face. This is ridiculous." And he would talk to me in spirit, just the way he would talk to me if he was here. My job there, and I've had this before with other experiences, is that I'm also here not only to help people on this plane speak to people who have passed away and help them to remember what they forgot when they came into their body, and who they are, and their powers and their gifts, and that their godness, and how to draw to them health and money and love and happiness. But I'm there to help the people that have passed away. I'm there to take the people that are passing and bring them over to the other side and make it a nice, smooth sailing for them. Now, another very quick story, and then we're going to go to your questions, which I'm very anxious to hear and answer, is I had mentioned it briefly on our other show, and I'll briefly recap it. Went to get gas on a Sunday morning with my husband at the time. He's pumping gas in the car, and I'm hysterical crying in the car, out of control. I don't know why I'm crying. I don't know why I'm falling apart at the seams. I hear this voice saying, "Help, I need my family. Where are they? I have to get back to them. Where's my family? What happened to them? What's going on?" And I'm crying while I'm saying this. My husband's running into the car, trying to comfort me. And I'm like, "No, get away. I got to run out." So I bolt out of the car, and I'm banging on the garage doors of the mobile service station in Brooklyn on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Kings Highway. And I've been getting gas there for years in Brooklyn when I lived there. Who hasn't? It's like a big station. Probably all know it. Banging and banging and banging. And finally the manager comes over, who knew me, and said, "What's the matter? It's closed today. There's no service." No, there's a man there. You got to get him out. He's screaming, he's crying, he wants his And he said, oh my God, you're talking about the man that was shot last night."